after I went live on Saturday. So here we go, because I have to re-explain this diet. I had so many people reach out to me. I couldn't even. My phone is like legit, like blowing up to the point where I'm missing people. So I think it's better just to go live and explain this diet one more time because it's so effective. It stops. It stops um, obesity, cancers, cloudy mind. Uh, it stops ED if you have a problem with in bed. It stops everything, and it's just so basic. So I have to go over this ancestral diet quickly one more time today on Sunday. So I'm live once again. If you don't know me and if you don't follow me, my name is Scott Lubick. I live in Tampa, Florida. I do security for a living, amongst other things. But I lost a ton of weight, and I did it. So I did this live yesterday. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for the hearts. I did a live the other day and I explained it, and people, I had so many people. My cell phone number is right in, like you guys on YouTube, my cell phone number is right there in the comments. I'll put my cell phone number right here so you guys have it. So if you need to reach out to me, you can. There's my phone number, and I'll do it for Facebook too. Hold on. Oops. Facebook. 330. Hold on, guys. 6801. Here's my phone number. Okay. I'll go over the ancestral diet. I'll go over the hormones. And I'll do it one more time because I love you. Ready? I'm 53. I'm 240. Just weighed in at 248. And I have an 8-pack of abs. That is not from going to the gym. That is not from steroids. That is not from any of that. This is from following, it's from basics, adult basics. So this live is really just giving you the blueprint on how to fix if you're in pain, if you're heavy set, if you are moody, if you if you're having trouble pleasing your other in bed. And this diet, you are what you eat. Okay. And if you follow me, you know that I'm huge. I'm a huge advocate of small farms, and a huge advocate of non-GMO, and a huge advocate of foods that have no ingredients. So, but if you don't follow me, hang in there. I'm going to explain this to you simply because I truly understand it, and you're going to get it, and you're going to be like, wow, and you're going to lose 60, 70, 80, 90 pounds. So here it is. Ready? Simple. If it wasn't around 500 years ago, you should not put it in your mouth today. Let me explain it again. Let me say it again. 500 years ago, my ancestors are from the British Isles, right? They're Vikings. All of the British Isles were conquered by the Vikings, and now the Vikings are called Russians. Russia is where the Vikings settled after they went through Europe and they changed the face of the planet. Got it? All right. Slovakia, Slovak. My father's side is Czechoslovak. The word Slovak is actually the word slave, because when the Vikings came through, they enslaved the Eastern European people, which we now know as the English. We know them as the Irish. We know them as, all of those countries. People are called Slovaks and that's where the word slave came from, because that's the word. All right, got it? So We were slaves well before the Americas, right? These people. Um, so I'm part Viking. That's the bottom line. If you're Eastern European, you probably have red strawberry hair somewhere down the line. You are a Viking. So, in order to maintain your highest and best self genetically, you're designed to eat a certain way. All right, there is no one diet for the whole world. You just so you know, 500 years ago, there was no such thing as a vegetarian. Okay? I'm from Atlantic City, New Jersey, but my people are hunters. They're from New Jersey. In the wintertime, the ground is so hard, you could not grow anything in the ground. So, if you're under the delusion that there was vegetarians back then or vegans, those people would have starved to death. 9 months out of the year, they wouldn't have made it. All right. There was no such thing as a vegan. There was no such thing as a vegetarian 500 years ago. These are new concepts. All right. This is just this is just deduction using common sense because of the ground, and also real science, not the stuff that we're taught. All right. Not the content creator stuff. This is real. So my people ate lamb. My people ate uh, cows, pigs. They ate deer. They ate cats, dogs, squirrels. They ate every bird that you could possibly think of. And that's all they ate. Maybe some cabbage once in a while. So, genetically, I have to eat that exact diet to be, to look like the way I look now. All right? That's it. There's no magic. If it wasn't around 500 years ago when you hear me say that because you follow me, what I really am saying is two things. I'm saying, hey man, that peanut butter and jelly wasn't around 500 years ago, so you can't eat it. Can't feed it to the kids. And your people didn't eat that 500 years ago. Therefore, you're genetically not designed to eat it. Now, the reason why I say there's no one diet for every person on the planet is because genetically, if you're from the islands, and this is why I had to redo this video. I did it yesterday. I got such a huge response. I'm redoing it for the people that simply asked me to. All right. If you're from the islands, say you're Jamaican, for example, say you're from Jamaica, the people that are from Jamaica did not eat what I ate. They probably ate fish, fruit, and vegetables, right? So, if you're Jamaican, find out what your people ate 500 years ago. You eat that same diet because genetically that's what you're designed to eat. You're designed to eat that way. All right? You will be lean, mean, you will be smarter. You will not need any drugs to clear your cloudy head. You won't need any antidepressants. You will not need any of the drugs that you're currently taking. What's happening to your body right now, really, is it's rejecting what you're feeding it, and it's coming out in your moods. It's coming out in your job performance, in your bed performance. It's coming out. You're heavy. Your husbands are heavy. Your wives are heavy. People, you're not genetically engineered, designed to eat what they're feeding you today, is what I'm trying to tell you. So, to run it down and make it ridiculously simple so everybody can understand, first step you have to take is a mindset. You have to make a decision and say, okay, I am not going to eat anything that wasn't around 500 years ago. I hate to break it to the Italians. I hate to, but there was no pasta 500 years ago or pizza 500 years ago. Sorry, there wasn't. They did. They had bread, but it was real bread that you can't duplicate today. I'm so sorry to tell you. For you vegans and for you vegetarians, I'm so sorry to tell you there was no vegans or vegetarians 500 years ago. So, when you abuse your body by not feeding it what it's designed to eat, you will die at 60, 65 years old, probably have a heart attack in your 50s. And then 60, 65, that'll be the end of your life, whether you eat as a vegan, a vegetarian, or just a meat eater. It doesn't matter. If you look at the data, all the lifespans are the same. They're all the same. That's why vegetarians die every day of heart attacks. This is fact. All right? You can't say one group of people lives longer than the other group of people because, for example, like I was a priest. So we tried to eat kosher, right? Kosher meat, kosher everything, kosher butcher. Well, if that was right, kosher foods. If that was right, the Hebrew people would be living to 120 and everybody else would be dying at 65. That's not the case. They're dying too at the same age. So that's not right. You got it? So, in order to have a full life, hello, and look your best. Matter of fact, think of it like this. In order to return your body back to 20 years old, two things have to happen. Number one, you have to eat what you're designed to eat, which means, so you know, I'm 53. So the food that they sell today or try to pass off as food is not the same as what my mom cooked. It isn't. It's not the same food. As a matter of fact, moms don't really cook anymore, which is the biggest problem of all. Ethnic food. So if you were Spanish, for example, I worked in Colombia, lived in Colombia. The Spanish women, the Colombian women, would cook. They would teach they would teach their daughters to cook. The grandmoms would cook. The great grandmoms would cook. The great great grandmoms would cook. All the way back, the same exact food that the people would be eating for 500 years. And this is a good example. So the people would live long, healthy lives and not need hospitals or medication or drugs because they're depressed. This is the same in the Italian community. This is the same in all communities. It is. It's the same in every ethnic community. Irish, English, um, Chinese. The people were by default because they would eat at home. They would eat what their ancestors taught them to eat, which was what they were genetically designed to eat, which is why people, when we were young, died of old age. I don't know if you know this or not. Hospitals are getting bigger. People are the 55 is the new 80, and it's all because of what we're eating. And what we're eating, to my next point, I don't know if you know this or not, but if you are a man or a woman, so take a man for example, in America, the average man's testosterone level is 300. That man is going to have a heart attack in his 50s and probably die at 65 because low testosterone creates visceral fat, body fat, and once it does, there's no old fat people for a reason. You got it? There's no old fat people. So once they have that body fat on them, their body can't handle it. Their body can't handle it. They die at 65, 70 max. When I was young, there were no heavy people, maybe one or two had some kind of gland problem. They sent you to a fat farm if you were heavy when you were a kid because something was wrong with you. You got beat up every day, all right? You were just different. You were the fat kid, right? Now, I just left South Beach, Miami, and I got to tell you something. I'm 53 years old, and the kids, the children that were there in their 20s and 30s, the young adults, they looked horrific. Their bodies looked horrific. Why? It's the food. It's not their fault. It's the food. So I'm doing this video because the food not only, let me, never fails. Let me know if you can't hear me on Facebook. Let me know if you can't hear me on Facebook. Yeah, reconnect. Okay, you should be able to hear me on Facebook now. Sorry about that. So when you start eating like your ancestors did 500 years ago, there's no need for you to go to the gym unless you want to be buff. There's no need for you to start walking every day. There's no need for any exercise. Genetically, you're now going to all the inflammation is going to come out of your body because your body is eating what it was designed to eat. This is how it, okay, this is how it works. All right. Just so you know, I can't hear you on Facebook. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me on Facebook? Anybody? Can you guys hear me? Just let me know if you can hear me on Facebook. Just anyway. So I want you guys to try this diet. Okay, thank you. You can hear me on Facebook? You can hear me on Facebook? Please? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want you guys are on Instagram. You guys are on Facebook. You guys are on YouTube. I want, yes, thank you. Okay. So I want step number one, if it wasn't around 500 years ago, don't put it in your mouth, no matter what nationality you are. Step number two is find out where your ancestors are from. Okay? And whatever they ate 500 years ago, you simply eat today. So 500 years ago, they didn't have Yoo-hoo, the fake chocolate milk. They didn't have chocolate milk. They only had milk. So if your people drank milk 500 years ago directly from a cow, odds are genetically you're designed to drink milk. My people didn't drink milk. I don't know if you know this or not, but drinking milk was specific to one part of the world. Most cultures did not drink milk. That is a complete lie. The only time these cultures drank milk was when there was famine and there was no food, nothing. We're the only animals on the planet that do two things: spray our foods with poison so other animals don't eat it, and then we eat it, and drink milk from other animals. No other animal will drink milk on the reg from another animal. We're not designed really to drink cow's milk. But if your people, like I said, 500 years ago, if you find out that they did, if you find out that they churned butter and they used milk in it, pasteurized milk, no such thing 500 years ago. None. Listen, my first wife's Colombian. I'll never forget it. She was pregnant with my son, John Paul. She made me stop on a road in Colombia. She's from Colombia. She walked up to a farmer. He was milking a cow in the middle of a field. The cow gave her this nasty, frothy thing of milk that had shit swimming around in it. I said, don't drink that. Do not drink that. She drank it right down. No problem. If I would have drank it, it would have killed me. Because I'm not from there. I'm genetically not designed to drink that. But her people apparently are. Do you understand? This is how it works. So, now that we understand there's no one diet for anybody, and there was no vegans or vegetarians on the planet 500 years ago. There wasn't. Now that we got that out of the way, and we now know how to eat, now we have to straighten out your hormones. Because your hormones, let me just say, it's very easy to turn a man into a woman. Here's how you do it. You take away his testosterone and you up his estrogen, which is what the food at Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Wawa, everywhere is designed to do. If you want to make a woman a man, all you have to do is take her estrogen away and give her testosterone, which can easily be done, or your body can be tricked into making one or the other if they just use a certain chemical, which they do. They do in everything. You got it? It's in everything for no reason. Why do they put modified wheat gluten in everything? Why? It's designed to spike your insulin level. And I'll tell you this, right? Since we're still talking about diet, and I want to talk about hormones, because even if your diet's cleaned up, if your hormones are messed up, you're still going to have a heart attack. So we got to talk about that next. But I can just tell you that if you take a half of go to the grocery store, buy the most expensive bagels they got, good ones. Go to a Jewish deli, get the most expensive bagels they got. Cut it in half, eat half of it. Doesn't matter. Get a half an English muffin, right? Yeah, modified wheat. Get a half of an English muffin, get a half a bagel, get one piece of toast. Eat it on Monday, right? Eat it on Monday. Your insulin level is spiked for 2 weeks. Now, why is that significant? If your insulin level is spiked for any period of time at all, during that time, insulin has one job. It tells your body you're not allowed to eat the fat that's stored on you for survival purposes. You're only allowed to eat the energy that is in your bloodstream. You got it? So the coffee and the sugar you drank this morning, your body is running off of that. So if you eat one bagel, half a bagel, one piece of toast, one English muffin on Monday, you could go to the gym all week, not lose 1 pound because your body's shut down. You could fast for 3 days, not eat one thing. The moment you put something back in your mouth, you gain the weight back because your body's insulin intolerant. You're not designed to eat the food, what they're calling food today. You're not. You are not. You do not need to buy anything special. You don't need to go to the gym. You don't need to go walking. You don't need to change your lifestyle at all. All you have to do is change what you're eating and only eat what your ancestors ate 500 years ago. If you just do that, you'll slim back down to what people looked like in the 70s. You won't get cancer. You won't get you won't get all of these crazy things that they have vaccines for, that they're trying to tell you are flus and viruses and everything. No, it's because your body is rejecting the foods that you're putting in it. Do you remember when cigarettes were bad for you and drinking was bad for you? You remember? Right. Cigarettes were bad, and right? And drinking was bad for you. Now that's good to you for you compared to genetically engineered food. That's like health. It's like, what's this guy doing? He's smoking, he's drinking. Oh, so he's taking care of himself. Yeah, he doesn't need anything genetically modified. Oh, he's gonna live to be 120. This is why I'm from Atlantic City. So the Chinese people back in the 90s would smoke constantly while they were playing Baccarat. Constant. Dude, I'm talking, you couldn't even see them. And they would live to be 400 years old, right? And you're like, how? Like, you go to Europe right now, people outlive us in America all day long. They live another 20 years all day because all the food we sell is illegal there. They're not allowed to buy it. They're not allowed to sell it. It's not even considered food. They smoke like broke stoves, bro. Yes. They drink, they smoke. It's like walking into a casino back in the day on the casino floor, people smoking and drinking and do that. Everything wrong. The opposite of the gym. Every that is Europe, right? And they're living to be 90, 100 years old, smoking 3, 4 packs of parliaments a day or whatever they got over there because they don't have the toxins in the food. You got to pick your poison. Now, if they come over here and they try that, guess what, bro? You can't be fat and smoke. You're going to die. So that leads me to the next part of this conversation. So now that we find ourselves in this concrete jungle and there's a million ways to die and they've made it 100% crystal clear, you and you alone are responsible for your own health and your own safety. They've made it crystal clear, right? Clearly. Now you have to get a blood test every year until your hormones are straightened out. Now, listen to the words coming out of my mouth like you've never listened before because your life depends on it. Again, if you're a man and your testosterone level's 300, so if you go walk into the mirror right now, if you're a man and you got man boobs and you can't see your abs, you have low testosterone. Men are not designed to not look like me. That is a fact. They are designed, men 500 years ago looked like me without touching a weight because of the diet and the hormones. So now, since they pump the animals so full of testosterone, they pump the animal full of IGF-1, which makes a chicken breast this big. They pump the animal full of vaccines that lowers your immune system. Your body now does not make testosterone as a man because you're eating testosterone. So once you shut your man junk off, you're not only not pleasing your girl, right? And she's gonna ghost you, bro. Make no mistake, she's gonna ghost you if you don't. Just like you'll ghost her if she does. I'm just telling you, bro. We're all adults here. You got to be uncomfortable sometimes just to hear the truth, right? My wife's doing great, thank you. My ex-wife, she's doing great. I'll tell you about that in a second. But what a mess. But I'll tell you about that in a second. But what you need to do if you're a man or a woman, get your blood work done once a year. My phone number is right there. If you don't know how to do it, I'll lead you to the place that will get your blood work done. Get your blood work done. Specific tests are needed to see where your hormone levels are. All right? A gorilla is a gorilla not because he eats ants and stuff. He's a gorilla because of hormones and genetics, right? You're you, same thing. You're you because of hormones and genetics. A lion is a lion because of hormones and genetics. All right. So when you lose your hormones, you lose a part of you. Your body is shut down if you don't have your hormones right. And you're going to get cancer, right? So perfect example. A woman who has a baby at 25, if her hormones don't go back to where they need to be, she could get cancer and she could die, like one of my followers' daughters did after she had her daughter. Yeah. All those cancers that you're talking about right there are because you're not eating genetically what you're designed to eat. That's what causes cancer. Abnormal cells in the body are caused from eating something that your body can't absorb. So it stores it as either this as either fat or just water weight. That's a lot of these people you see, they're not fat. It's all water and inflammation. It's because they constantly eat things their body. The biggest crime against humanity by far today, in my opinion, is calling what Chick-fil-A, what Walmart, what Publix, what Outback Steakhouse sells, calling that food. I'm not even going to go to this place and say, why are you buying food from a place you can also buy tires when it comes to Walmart? That conversation is beneath both of us. But when you don't see what's going on in Outback Steakhouse, because look, you're going to go out on a date, where are you going to go? You know what I mean? You, you can't, what are we going to do here? Outback Steakhouse is selling the same thing Chick-fil-A is selling. It's all meat glue and bioengineered meat alongside of injected meat with the hormones, which messes up your body. It's not hard to figure out. 47% of American public has cancer now. 47% of you who are watching this live are going to have cancer because of the food that we eat. So to fix that, just eat what your ancestors ate 500 years ago. It's very simple. If it wasn't around 500 years ago, you can't eat it today. All this new stuff they're coming out with, bioengineered everything, can't eat it. You're not designed to eat it. All this vegan stuff, the Beyond Burgers, you can't eat it. You're not designed to eat it. You won't. You'll blow up like a balloon and have a heart attack like I almost did. I went vegan for 4 years and gained 97 pounds because genetically I wasn't designed to eat that stuff. So let's move on. Let's talk about hormones now. My number is in the live. Let me put it in the live one more time. All right. I'm going to do it one more time for you. You are to text me if you have the following condition. If you can't lose weight and you've tried everything, you need to text me. If you can't please your other in bed, or you have mood swings, or both, you need to text me. If you are aging horribly and you just don't feel right, you have no energy, you need to text me. Okay? You like those arms? 20 inches of love, darling. So you need to text me. If you have chronic pain and you can't figure it out, the doctors can't figure it out, and you can't walk, and no one can figure it out, you need to text me. It's not rocket science. I am not a doctor. I am telling you from my experiences how I fixed me. Odds are, how I fixed me is how you can fix you. Got it? It's not that hard. So simple. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to eat like your relatives ate 500 years ago. You are not going to eat anything that wasn't around 500 years ago. You are going to get your blood work done and make sure your hormones are where they need to be so you don't get cancer, so you can survive. So you don't have to go to the gym and waste your time and waste your time on all these. So you can stop guessing what's wrong with you and find out what's wrong with you and fix it. Move forward in life like smart people do. That's why you're going to text me. Now, let's talk about some stuff. I'm going to show you something. I take what Ryan Reynolds takes. I take what Hugh Jackman takes. I take what Chris Wormsworth takes, to be honest. Full disclosure with me, bro. If you're following me on my page, I do it's one of those things where I don't I don't um I don't I don't I only talk about what I've personally experienced. So if I hear something, I'm not going to repeat it to you because I'm not. It's like you see those RFK things where it says RFK is removing bioengineer. Do you support him? Those are all just content creators trying to get likes and views. That man is not doing anything. He's been a politician for 50 years. It's a joke on you. I'm sorry, so sorry to tell you. They picked a guy who's in the worst health in all of the actors in government. They picked a guy with worms on the brain. I'm not making fun of the guy. I had MS. All right? I'm not making fun of the guy. Guy can't even talk, and he's supposed to be the health czar. He's not doing nothing. No one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself. Surely, Calvary wiped out sin, so you're saved. But when it comes to quality of life, that's your job. All right, so I'm going to show you this drug. This is what they give Navy SEALs. This is what Ryan Reynolds takes. This is what special operators take. This will repair you from almost anything. Ready? So I'll show it to Facebook first. Facebook. All right. So this is penendeca arginate, better known as body protection compound 157. Body protection compound 157. Body protection compound 157. Okay? Which the new, I just ordered more and it actually says body protection compound 157. It doesn't say penendeca arginate. So this is body protection compound 157 YouTube. All right. This right here is a branch chain amino acid that your body used to take and make when you were a child, which brought you from 3 foot to 6 foot, which grew your body and made you an adult. Your body used to make that, and they found out that if they put that in an adult, it has the same effect. It cures diseases. It fixes chronic pain. Right. Okay. They call it the Wolverine Protocol. This is part of it. There's a couple other ones that I could tell you about, but you've probably already seen those videos. But this is the only one you need if you have chronic pain and if you're trying to, if you have back problems, if you have a shoulder problem, if you want your skin to tighten up after you lose a lot of weight, this is it right here. Here's another one. So I can't show you the label because the label wore off, but this is called HCG. Now, HCG is made from the placenta of a woman after she gives birth. Okay, just so you know, when they give a woman a hysterectomy, they don't throw those body parts out. They give them to rich women so they can have a baby at 55, 60 years old. Okay? Your placenta, it's a branch chain amino acid. The other one, I'm sorry. This one is made from the placenta of a woman after she gives birth. They cut the cord. They say, oh, we're going to take this cord. We're going to get rid of it. No, they sell it and they make drugs like this. Okay? And for you men, what this drug does is it turns your testicles back on. So you don't have to take replacement therapy, testosterone replacement therapy. You can simply supplement your testosterone, and your testicles, your balls will work again. You'll feel like you're 20, and your wife will be screaming your name, and your neighbors will know your name finally after 10 years. So that's what this drug does. This second one, the label's worn off because I fondle it so much. Uh, the label wore off for some reason, but it's called HCG. HCG. All right, look it up, and it's amazing. They give it to they give it to men at fertility clinics actually, and they give it to women as well. And it's got a couple side effects. One of the side effects is it stimulates your pituitary gland, and when it does stimulate your pituitary gland, that's what creates that's what forces a man's testicles to make testosterone, and they fill up and they're full. Yeah, HCG. Yeah, you take a little piece of body fat and you inject it. You can't even feel it. You inject it into your belly fat. It's once a week, and it's nothing. And believe me, the benefit far outweighs the injection, and it's water based, so you're not going to have any issues. It's very cheap too. So if you text me, I'll show you where you can get that as well. All right. So I want to go over these other two drugs. So I don't have to do testosterone replacement therapy, which shitty doctors give to men. I do. I supplement my testosterone. So I don't want to die of a heart attack like my biological father did at 63. I'm 53. That's only 10 years from now. I don't want to do that. I want to live to the ripe old age of 120, which I'm going to do because I eat what my ancestors ate, and because I get a blood test 3 times per year. I make sure my hormones are like when I was 20 years old. That is the most, um, yeah, yes, Brenda, it depresses your appetite, makes you feel full. HCG, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna live, and I'm gonna live, and I'm gonna look like this. I'm not the best looking dude in the world, but guess what? I ain't the ugliest neither, and I rarely get turned down by the girls, and that's all I care about. This dog hunts only that way, FYI, gentlemen. Thank you for all the love mail, but I only hunt one way. Anyway, so this is the drug that I take to supplement my testosterone because it's been destroyed by the concrete jungle we live in. The foods, the plastics, the shit that you don't even know that they're doing to you. Okay? The foods, the quality of food, everything is decreased. It's it's all decreased. So it can't support the thousand a man my age minimum has to have 1,000 his testosterone. It depends on the test and who gives it. Like Quest Diagnostics has a different gauge than like one of the other ones. But let's just say it's 1,000. Your testosterone level has to be 1,000. That'll keep you out of the heart attack zone. 800 to 1,000. It'll make you. Give you energy. It'll make you literally a I have to have sex. My ex-wife says that I need to go to counseling. Like I'm an addict. I'm just being honest, bro. It's horrible for her. Uh, so I don't know if that excites women or not, but I'm just letting you know now, 3 times a day. All right. So that's just me though. I don't know if that was because I was abused as a child or that's just me. But anyway, this this drug right here takes my naturally my testosterone level is 375. If I take HCG and not take this, it goes to about 700, right? Which I can live with, right? If I take just a little bit of this and I take the HCG, I'm at 1800. That's where my testosterone level is. That's why I have an 8 pack at 53. So this is the other drug that I take. So if you text me anywhere in the United States, anywhere except for, yeah, anywhere in the United States, I believe, so most of these drugs can be shipped. So this is what I take. This supplements um, your testosterone level. If you go to a bad doctor, he's just going to give you this and say, oh, well, you know what? Your body doesn't make testosterone anymore, so you have to replace it. That's what they call TRT, testosterone replacement therapy. Um, that's just bad information. That's just not how it works. You need to take HCG so your body starts to rebuild and make the testosterone again. And if you take the peptides, um, what happens is if you take the peptides, your body just repairs itself from all the horrible foods. So this next drug I'm going to show you, I take. It's one of my favorites. This drug um, is designed to strengthen the muscle around damaged tissue. So you know, so Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, all these guys, Chris Wormsworth, the guy who plays Thor, The Rock, obviously, all of these guys take these drugs, and it used to be so expensive that only they could afford it, right? Now it's super cheap, meaning that couple, it just depends what you want to do. If you just want your hormones straightened out, look, it'll probably cost you a couple $100 a month. If it costs you a couple $100 a month and you add 20 years to your life, I would say it's worth it. You're going to save that just in copays at the doctors. But all of your pain's going to go away. You're going to lose 40, 50 pounds. Your hormones, you're going to be like you're 20 again. So if someone said to you, hey man, I can make you feel like you're 20 again, is it worth, for me, that's worth 10 grand a month if I had it. But in reality, it's not that much money. So, right. So, anyway, this next drug, this one, so again, I take what Navy SEALs take, Army Rangers take, Chris Wormsworth takes, and all of the movie stars take, the people with money, and it's not that expensive. That's a fallacy. So, this one right here is called, they used to be called DECA. Back in the day, in the 90s, bodybuilders would take this and it would put muscle on them, right? By the way, all these are compounded right here in Tampa Bay. I literally went to the pharmacies myself, drove my truck to the pharmacy to make sure it wasn't being made in a Mexican bathtub. Like if you buy any of these peptides on like Facebook, dude, you don't know what you're getting. I literally drove to the pharmacies to make sure this shit was legit. And this is after going and seeing a doctor, and I checked him, or excuse me, a nurse practitioner, and I made sure he was licensed. So I didn't want to take for granted that I didn't want, see, the problem is you don't want to assume somebody knows what they're talking about. You want to go physically, personally check things out, because if you don't, shame on you. If you don't personally check things out and you just believe what these doctors tell you, you you know what? You got a problem, a big one. Where do I live? I live in Tampa. I live in Ybor. I live in Ybor City. You know where that's at, Brenda? Uh, you think that's what your son takes? Yeah, he's probably jacked. So, it you don't have to be a bodybuilder. You just have to, and you don't have to go to the gym. Yeah, DECA. You don't have to, that is repairs joints, just so you know, tendons and ligaments. That's what it's for. Okay? You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to do any of these things. All you have to do is follow the diet that your ancestors ate 500 years ago. And then, if you don't want to have a heart attack, if you don't want to experience cancer, all you have to do is get a blood test at least once a year, right? North Carolina, that's where my uh, ex-wife's from, Benson. So, and get a blood test. You get a blood test at least once a year. Find out where your hormones are, right? And supplement your hormones, and then eventually they'll go back to normal just from the diet. But they're not, you can't be 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, change your diet now after all the damage is done without having body protection compounds or supplementing your 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 testosterone level. You can't. Your body needs help. You got to give your body the ability to regenerate itself, to fix itself. You don't need surgery. You don't need chemo. You don't need any of this. You don't need to work out. You don't need any of this. You just don't have to change your life. You just can't eat what you weren't designed to eat. And you can't ignore the fact that the food has destroyed your hormone levels. That's why men are no longer men. They're not. They're not. Men today are not the same men that were 50 years ago. They're not. They're not, bro. I'm a 90s dude. My peak, my I was 19, in that era, okay? We were way more jacked than the guys today. You know why? I'll explain it to you. In 1991, the FDA, Future Dead Americans, right? That's what it stands for, Future Dead Americans, FDA, or Food and Drug Administration, whichever your flavor. It passed the law to allow genetically modified food, which is called GMO, which was mandated and forced on farmers that they have to use it by the federal government through the FDA. Every farmer had to use it if they wanted their crops and such insured. If they wanted their crops insured, they had to use GMO seed. If they wanted their animals insured, they had to use GMO feed. If they wanted their animals insured, they had to vaccinate them and they had to give them IGF-1 growth hormone. That is a fact. You could talk to any cattle farmer and he'll say you're not allowed to sell to Outback Steakhouse or any of those food chains. You're not unless you follow this protocol. How do I know that? My cousins are farmers. You can Google this in New Jersey. They are. They do not use any of this trash. They are small farmers. They do not sell to big places like Outback Steakhouse. They do not sell. They do not sell because they refuse to poison people for a living. Call them crazy, right? So the FDA places mandate on all business, and what it did was in 1991 placed mandate, which is rules, regulations, protocols on the farmers, and force them to use this feed for them to get insurance. Because I don't know if you know this or not, but one frost comes along and can destroy a whole crop and put a farmer out of business and he loses his farm. So they buy insurance every year. So how they forced the farmers were, unless you use this specific protocol, which is a set of rules, GMO seed, GMO feed, you can't get insurance because the government owns the insurance companies through the same mandates, laws, and regulations. Okay, got it? Through the FDA. It's truth. They own everything. They own Tesla. They own SpaceX. They own everything through the same way. Hospitals, everything. Everything, all the way down to the landscaping company. I'll explain it. But in 1990, in 1991, all the food now is genetically modified. Started to be. In 1993, cancer spiked and never came down. Since 1993, 40% of Americans will get cancer. The only other country that has a higher cancer rate than us is Australia, because they have the same mandates on them. This is all true. You can never follow me or talk to me or any of that. I'm telling you now, the reason you these people, I feel so bad when someone says, "Oh, I'm a vegan." All right, I'm a vegetarian. That's why I don't want to eat hormones. That's why I'm a vegetarian. I don't want the animals to suffer. Let me explain this to you, okay? In order for you to wake up and live today, you're going to cut a bloody path through this world, and things have to die for you to move forward. So I love the animals too. I do. But we find ourselves in a jungle where only the strong survive. And right now, until AI, we are the dominant species on the planet, which means everything and everybody else has to go when it comes to our survival. All right? Which is when AI comes out, we're going to fall in line with the cows. Just so you know, FYI. It's not going to be like Elon says, with all of us wearing white robes with a little gold, that gold thing, and playing with harps and wearing Jesus slippers, and no one gets a job, everybody gets a stipend check. Isn't that amazing? That man, those words came out of that actor's mouth, right? He's like, everybody's going to get a stipend check. We're going to all have harps. No, I'll tell you what it's going to be. History shows us it's going to be like the Hunger Games. That's what it's going to be like. There's going to be two types of people on the planet: those who make content and those who watch content. There's going to be no jobs. It's going to be back to hunting and farming and gathering. That's what people are going to do for a living. And honestly, I can't wait. That's just who I am. But that doesn't mean you have to agree with me. So, not to ramble on, but you have to get a hold of me to get your hormones straight. If you want advice, you can go to your own doctor, whatever. I don't care. I'm not making any money. You do what you want. But I've checked out my people. I know where the compounds come from. I know they're not synthetic, meaning that they're not junk. I know that the HCG comes from a woman's placenta. I know it's not synthetic. I know it's actually from the human signature. I know the testosterone. I know all of it. All of it. So if you do decide to text me, what'll happen is I will ask you just a couple questions, because everybody's situation is different. Some of you have a bad back and you just want the pain to stop. Some of you are 50, 60 pounds overweight. Some of you can't please your other in bed. So I can't really just, I mean, you have to text me and I'll tell you, I'll point you in the right direction. That's all there is to it. So anyway, let's talk about my wife, my ex-wife. I should stop calling her my ex-wife, because the truth is, before we got married, I always called her my wife. I knew from the moment we met, I was like, oh, it's my wife, right? I should really, really stop calling her my ex-wife. It's just I was destroyed when we got divorced. I'll be honest. I was I was destroyed. It destroyed me. It really did, and it destroyed me because um I've had a lot of loss in my family. Um, I've had a lot of loss in my life. I've a lot of loss. Like I've been betrayed by family members that I thought loved me, and they didn't. They were literally predators. I was sexually abused when I was a child, so I have like abandonment issues, which is what really led me to become such an animal and work in Colombia during the drug wars as a subcontractor. Dude, I took my anger out on those people. I don't I am not I'm afraid to go back to that country, to be honest. They might lock me up for like forever, like 400 years. So I'm just saying that when I if you don't know my history, I worked for Blackwater. In 1997, it was called Blackwater USA. I worked for the dudes for contractors from 1993 before it was even Blackwater, and then they turned it into Blackwater. Then they turned it into Blackwater International. Then they got in trouble, and when they got in trouble, I was subcontracting for the company in Colombia, and everybody got blacklisted. I wasn't even in the same country that the people got in trouble for. I got in trouble for nothing. So that was taken away. So everything. So if you look on my LinkedIn right now, I'm still for hire, but I am an independent. I don't work for uh XE services or any of that. I'm independent. So um but the divorce destroyed me, I'll be honest, going back to it, because of abandonment issues, and she was just so special to me. And I loved her so very very much. And it was just like something that was mine. And then it wasn't. It was just and it wasn't her fault. It was my fault. It was I was married before to a Colombian woman. My kids are Colombian, and um, during Barack Obama's administration, he deported more people. So everybody's clear. This is not a political statement, and I hold no ill will towards anybody or anything. But he deported more people out of this country than all other presidents combined. Barack Obama. And he did it and no one knew about it. He did whole families, and he deported my whole wife's family. They were cooking on a Sunday, and there was no ICE. It wasn't called ICE back then. It was called it was just immigration. The immigration officers came in, put anklets on every one of them, because the grandmom had came into the country illegally 20 years prior. Right? So bracelets on every one of them until they could figure out their IDs, who they were. What's up, Charles? My son just logged on. Love you, kid. He's one of the most talented artists on the planet. He keeps denying it. He's not retired. He just left the Air Force, and he is incredibly talented in the music industry, and I'm going to get him back into it because I hate to see wasted talent. He's so much more. Anyway, and I'm very proud of him. He's not as handsome as me. That's because of his mom. It's not his fault. Besides that, he's all me. You can tell. Same attitude, same everything. But uh, going back to it, I lost my first wife because she was deported. So it wasn't my fault. There was no argument. They put a bracelet on her leg, and a month later, they came and took her and 20 other Colombians back to Colombia, and that left me with three little kids. That left me with three little kids to raise by myself. That ended my security career for a long time. Obviously, I couldn't just leave them. So I went into other businesses, got into the housing businesses and such. But then when I met this girl, the and we were together for 7 or 8 years. I made perfectly sure that this was the one. A fast move is always a wrong move, just so you guys know. A fast move is always a wrong move, just so you guys all know. Okay? A fast move is a wrong move, just so you guys know. So I was with her for 8 years prior to marrying her. Married her, and when I did marry her, something happened with inside me, and I basically, I think it was something, I didn't want to lose another wife, so I became overprotective. I just turned into a different guy. Whatever. And ruined I didn't ruin the marriage, but, whatever. It was just too much. So anyway, we got a divorce, and on the way home from the divorce, I said, "Hey man, you want to go get something to eat?" She said, "Yeah," and we've been together ever since. And I have, uh, while we were broke up for 9 months, though, I met a special friend who means everything to me. But I'm with my wife. Uh, and it's a wrap. There's nothing I can do about that. So there's that, man. Um, my ex-wife. I'm with my ex-wife. I was so mad. I was like, "Don't use my last name. Don't even use my last name." I was so mad. I was so mad. I was destroyed. Because what had happened was, just so you know, I couldn't walk for 7 months. I couldn't walk for 7 months. I had been shot in both legs and through my side, and I had a flare up where I couldn't function. And during that same time, my kids all left the house. No one talked to me. I was like alone for like 2 years, sick with diabetes, 350 pounds, left to my own miserable life, my own demise, to my own thoughts, which were horrific. Uh, unless you, I think everybody should spend a couple years by themselves, and you need to work shit out in your head. You need to really, unless you're isolated from the world, like I was, couldn't walk, couldn't work, no one talked to me. It's like everybody, when the kids grow up, they don't want to. They got their own lives, so everybody's out of the house. I'm in this big house, vamp castle, right? And no one, no one's talking to me. And I was with her so long. I just. So for 2 years, I literally just stewed, and I went and I dealt with a lot of the issues that I never dealt with, that I drank away. The PTSD. I remembered a lot of things that happened to me as a child. At that point, they all came back, rushing back to me, that I had buried. Um, I buried a lot of really, really bad, like sexual child abuse. I buried that, and that, I just buried a lot of stuff. So those 2 years allowed me to really find myself once again. And then her and I, and then what happened was, I decided I had to make a decision whether I was going to live or I was going to die. Because I was in, from TMJ in my jaw, I was 350 pounds. I had been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. No one was talking to me. My mother didn't even talk to me. Everybody just walked away. My sisters, everybody who I ever helped in my life, poof, gone. All of them, poof, just gone. Right? Just gone. And I had my gun in my hand, and I was going to end it. I'm being honest. I really was. I was to the point where, okay, I'm a I failed at my marriage. I failed raising my kids. I did all these things. It's just horrible, dude. But then I remember that only cowards. I I I focus under pressure. I focus under pressure. And I know what it is to be in pain. And I don't judge anybody, but I think it's very cowardly not to take the pain. Because the pain, nothing grows into anything beautiful without pain. Pain is necessary. You can't have beautiful things. You can't love without pain. You can't, it's always one side or the other of these of the spectrum. You have to have pain. You have to have suffering. So I just took it like a man for 2 years, and I made a decision where I'm going to start walking every day barefooted, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but when you walk barefooted, shoes have one purpose. Shoes allow you to have bad posture, and they allow you to not only have bad posture, but stay comfortable while you have bad posture. That's what shoes are designed to do, just so you know. All right. So if you want to fix all the aches and pains in your body, you have to eat like it's 500 years ago. You have to eat what you're designed to eat only. And you have to walk with no shoes on. And the reason why you have to walk with no shoes on is because it straightens out your posture. And when it straightens out your posture, it unpinches all of the nerves in throughout your body. All of them. So I have no shoes on probably 50% of my day, from day to day. Uh, I just don't. I don't have shoes on. So I started walking 4 miles a day, and I went back on. I got away from veganism, which, to be honest, my friend talked me into it because he said that the animals are suffering. I said, dude, we're all suffering. We're all suffering. No one's spared. Everybody on planet Earth is suffering. The animals are suffering. We're suffering. Life is to suffer. It's true. To live is to suffer. You have to suffer. It's part of life. Little kids in St. Jude's Hospital right now are suffering. They didn't do anything to anybody. They're suffering. Okay? So it's unfair. I didn't need anybody to tell me life was unfair. I figured that out on my own. So I'm like, okay, I'm still alive. Let me just pull this shit together, and let me get back to being me. So I hit the FU button on everybody and everything. I let it go, and I walked barefooted 4 miles a day, 4 days a week. And when I did, um, this I was walking one day, and this girl, and I had started dating. I wanted to get my confidence back, and but I wasn't looking for anybody. And this girl walks up to me and she says, "Why don't you have shoes on?" And I said, and I told her exactly what I just told you. I don't have shoes on because we weren't designed to wear shoes. This girl kicks her shoes off and starts walking next to me. And I said to her immediately, and this is what I do, guys. So check. This is what you do if you see a beautiful woman and you really want to further the relationship. You want to date her. Ready? I'm going to give you Return of the Mac player card. When you're not that good looking, you have to do things like the following to get the girl. I said to her immediately, "Hey, love, I'm sorry. Whatever this is, it ain't gonna work out." Well, when you say that to a woman, and I'm 53, she's 34 or 5 years old, you just drove her nuts. So she turns around to me and says, "I tell you if it isn't going to work out. You ain't going to tell me if it's going to work out. I tell you if it's going to work out." This is So, all right. Fast forward, turns out that she is one of the most wonderful people I have ever met in my life. And we will remain friends. Um, but I have to finish what I started with my wife. That's all I can say there. We will remain friends, and she was going through a very tough time too. And I only believe in divine providence. If you guys follow me, you know I'm an ex-priest, right? So I only believe in something called divine providence. It's called divine providence, right? Which means we have freedom of will of what we eat, excuse me, what we believe, what we eat, and what we wear. Anything outside of that is already pre designed for us to experience things. That's why they say God works in mysterious ways. You can't figure it out. It's beyond your intellect. It's when you just meet that right person at the right time, or you're in the right place at the right time. You can't get mad when things don't work out your way with this train of thought, because if you don't have it, it wasn't meant for you. You don't have $1 million right now because it wasn't meant for you. It's not what you truly desire. So if you truly desire peace and bliss, you think $1 million is going to get it for you. The universe, or whatever your flavor, divine providence, is going to say, nope, the million's not going to get it. You think it is in your intellect, because you just can only see what you can see. But I know down the road what's really going to give you that, what you truly desire. And that's what happens, divine providence. So when things don't work out the way you think they're going to work out, you just say, ah, good, good. Like I got fired last week. Well, guess what? I picked up another job, made twice as much money. Like I did a video on that. If you follow me, you've seen a video where I'm like, I got fired. I haven't gotten fired in 20 years. I got fired, just so you know, because AI. I logistically. So I'm a logistics guy. So somebody was coming into town who thinks who's a person who basically can't walk through public, so, without being mobbed. So he needed someone to. I don't know if you know this or not, but when a high line person comes into a town, they hire a guy like me to logistically plan a route of safety. What's going to get them to their hotel or their meeting and then back onto the plane. That's a logistics guy in security. Well, that's what I do. Um, if you look at my LinkedIn, it's crystal clear what I do, right? So I planned this route, and it was perfect. And AI planned another route, which clearly left holes everywhere, but they went with AI, and I didn't get the job. I got fired. And I was already on, as like, they were like, sorry, we're going to go with this AI model instead of you. I'm like, I signed the contract. They're like, yeah, but we didn't pay you yet. I'm like, so I'm fired. And the guy's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, oh, okay. So, whatever. AI doesn't know that if somebody has a knife and they're within 6 feet of you, and if they're within 6 feet of you, you can't. So, for example, if they're within 6 feet of you and you have one of these, and someone pulls a knife, you can't lift your gun or pull your gun out of your holster quick enough before somebody gets stabbed. Within 6 feet, somebody can stab you before somebody can pull a gun. This is not the movies, bro. This is real life stuff. So AI doesn't. And honestly, I care, but I don't care. So whatever. I believe in divine providence. I wasn't supposed to be there. And when I got fired, I'm like, good. And guess what? Another opportunity came right around, and bam, divine providence. So the whole thing with my wife, I let it go, divine providence. The whole thing with my girlfriend, I let it go, divine providence. Any issues with my family that growing up, like being abused, sexually abused as a child, I let it go. Divine providence. And I believe, for example, the little kids in St. Jude's Hospital that didn't do nothing to nobody, who have no hair, who are just there in hell. It horrible, horrible, horrible. I believe in divine providence. These souls came here to experience dread and tragedy. That's the only thing I can make sense of. And I came here to experience what I came here to experience, and you came here to experience what you came to experience. Which brings me back to, you can only decide what you eat, you can only decide what you wear, and what you believe. Hence, my page in the bio, it says critical thinking is key, logic, belief is everything. So that's why I try to tell you about these peptides, these body protection compounds. You're meant to hear it. I'm meant to guide you to it because you're meant to live. And this is a place of action. You can't get 20-inch arms unless you pick up weights. So if you say, well, I'm going to live to where I'm going to live, and that's the way it is, maybe you were meant to live longer. And that's why you're watching this. And I'm trying to tell you to get the hormones straightened out. And I'm trying to tell you to get the food straightened out so you can fulfill divine providence. That's all I'm saying. And I'll leave that right there. Does anybody got any questions for me? Any questions at all? Why I only go out with women of the other skin? That's a good question. No one ever asks that. No one ever asks why my girlfriends are all of the other skin. Am I saying you can't eat cakes, donuts, and sodas anymore? Potato chips? What do you think? I'm not even going to answer that, bro. Was it around 500 years ago? No. Therefore, you can't eat it. Listen, if it was real, like real sugar, real everything, yeah. It's not. It's all fake. Even the receipt at Chick-fil-A, when you saw that video, and you're watching Chick-fil-A, and I'm reading through the receipt on Chick-fil-A, the salt and the pepper, even the salt and the pepper is bioengineered. It's not even real salt and real pepper. It had to cost more to make fake salt than you could literally, salt is free. They get it out of a salt mine. I don't know. Yeah, you can't eat that. But no one asks why I only go out with a certain type of women, bro. Of the other skin. Why not? It's an interesting story. Does anybody want to hear it? Does anybody want to hear it? I'm not saying I don't go out with women that are same skin as me. I wake up and have organics. Yeah. Grass-fed organic beef. Yeah. There you go. If you want, listen, text me if you want to know how to eat. Yes, you want to hear why? Okay, yes, okay. You want to hear why I only go out with women of the other skin. Okay, I'm going to tell you. Um, and you're going to laugh. All right, I'm going to tell you, and you're going to laugh. You're going to laugh. I mean, I will go out with a woman who is of the same skin of me. I don't want to say I won't. There's beautiful, beautiful women. I have none, no, like, I do not discriminate. A beautiful woman is a beautiful woman. I just find myself with the other skin. So, anyway, all right. I was making a point, I forgot. So let's just talk about why I go out with women of the other skin. All right, here it is. This is a true story. I grew up in an ultra rich family with a bunch of scumbags, right? A bunch of people who thought that they could do anything because they had so much money, no matter what they did, it got washed away, right? True. True story. My mother had not one, but two closets of mink coats. Two closets of mink coats. I remember it like it was yesterday. They were thousands of dollars in the 70s and 80s. People paid. They were real. They were huge. The ones, real ones, right? I had an older brother who was a pedophile and a thief. They, whole family, whole family. My brother, Mark, was accused of murdering his girlfriend. He didn't. The guy who did literally went to the army and confessed to an army priest, and the priest told on him in confession, and he got locked up. He's probably still in jail. But my brother had such a bad reputation. I love him very much, Mark. He had such a bad reputation because he was so bad growing up, because we had so much money that the cops hated him. So, my mother had me a milkmaid. I don't know if you know what that is, but a milkmaid, because she was so effing bougie, is a woman. She was our maid. She cleaned our house, and she took care of me. Is what genetic? Liking women of the other skin? I'm going to tell you this much, that my milkmaid was a beautiful African American woman who raised me. So my first taste of a woman, because she was my milkmaid, was a woman of other skin. Her name was Patsy Bell. She was a wonderful woman who took care of my family for a long time. And when a white man is raised by a black woman, I'll just go ahead and say, if they silence me, they silence me. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm tired of saying other skin. When that happens, then what happens is your first, usually your first experience with touching, like I'm like now, because I've been through so much in my life, I am high maintenance. I constantly need to be touched and felt and told that, not reinforcement, but just I'm the type of person who needs love, which is a, a feeling like people touch, not telling me, because I've had people in my family tell me they love me and then steal $7 million from me. No, I need someone touching me and telling me they love me and massaging me. It's just damage. It's damage from childhood. So this woman is part of. I find comfort in the arms of a black woman. There it is. My mom was so bougie, I had a milkmaid. Her name was Patsy Bell, and and that was my first experience with a. I wasn't in love with her or anything. It just it just is. It just is what it is, bro. That's why I like black women. And my friends all ask me, and I have the most beautiful white women hit on me all the time, and I take them up on it. But my wife of or the one I'm with is a black woman, and my girlfriend, while we were broke up, she is a black woman. So that's why people always ask me, why is there a black girl in your video? Why are you always with black women? That's why. And I grew up in Atlantic City, New Jersey, in the 70s and the 80s and 90s. So that was like a place where it was the United Nations. So everybody from around the world um, came there to work. So there was no, I mean, dude, there was people from everywhere. There was no racism that I can remember growing up. It wasn't just black and white and Hispanic and whatever you got going on in your town. It was everybody in Atlantic City. They were from the Middle East. They were from everywhere because the casinos, the people that, worked in the casinos, they they were from everywhere. That's that's uh that's the story. So I didn't even know racism, as a matter of fact. I never even heard of racism until I was probably 17, 18, and my thieving ass, disgusting, low down, dirty, subhuman brother, um, older brother, who was left in charge of me when our biological father died, he brought me to a play, The Christmas Carol, and Tiny Tim, for the first time in Trenton, New Jersey, ever, was a little black kid. And we were walking out of the theater, and it was excellent. It was the first time I had ever been to theater. It was excellent, right? Um, and like I said, we were bougie white people, right? So first time I was ever, you know, um, ever even heard the N word. He said, my brother, the bigot, said, I can't believe they had an N playing Tiny Tim. Like, I'm like, what? Like, is it that important? Like, why not? Like, the Christmas Carol is some sort of magical thing that has to do with Jesus. Like, why would you even say something like that? It's not even a real story. Like, why couldn't, you know what I mean? And that really turned me, that one comment that less than a man made, that embarrassment to our family made, that one comment shied me away from racism. I I despise racists on both sides, to the point where if you're going to talk race, I know exactly who. Like, for example, I did a video with the guy on the scooter carrying an AR-15 that was loaded. Well, this racist makes this comment. He was of the other skin. He of the other skin, right? He makes this comment of, "Oh, why'd you talk to the cops? You talked to the cops because the guy carrying the gun was black, and that's what you're really concerned with, right?" So here's a guy. His meme for his social media thing is him and his wife, right? They looked good together, but they were other skin couple. He just didn't like white people. That's the bottom line. And I said to him, if you watch a video and the first thing that you think about is racism, you're a racist. That's true. If you watch a video that's talking about a guy on a scooter, a Uber scooter, carrying an AR-15 loaded with one in the chamber, and I'm telling you there's one in the chamber, that's why I talked to the cop, and you're trying to explain how smart you are by the tells. He called it a tell. The tell is you went and talked to the cop, and that's how we know you're a racist. This is a person who identifies themselves as a victim because of the color of their skin. He uses racism in every argument and is every excuse why he has a very insignificant life. When I was talking to the police officer, I'm a weapons expert, okay? So I'm talking to the police officer. See that pressure plate right there? You see it? You see it? See it? That pressure plate right there? If it's pushed out, that means there's one in the chamber. That's how you know if the Glock, if the AR-15 has one in the chamber because the pressure plate's pushed out. So I went to talk to the police officer because in Hillsborough County, where I live, I know Florida's now an open carry state. If I was afraid of the guy because he was black, I wouldn't have pulled up next to him and was videotaping him when he's armed to the teeth. I only had a Glock on me. Dude, he had an AR-15. I'd have lost every time. I knew he was a citizen. I talked to the cop because I was asking, because when they rewrote the law, I said to him, are we allowed to carry a rifle down the street with one in the chamber? That was the question I asked the cop, which I show on the video if you watch the video. And this guy, and I hate racism, and I hate people that use it. And I hate people that divide us because of it. And they're on both sides. Make no mistake about it. They are. You know, when my wife was deported and I had no money and none of that, I walked into the welfare office to get food stamps for 6 months till I tried to reinvent myself with 3 little kids. Those women of the other skin looked at me like I was nuts. Racism is on both sides. End of story. So I simply asked the cop, because in Hillsborough County it used to be illegal for you to carry a rifle down the road with the clip in, let alone one in the chamber. So that was the question, and this guy attacks me. So this whole conversation stemmed, to reel it all the way back in, why I like black women. And I like black women because my mother was bougie. She was jet setting around the world, and a black woman named Patsy Bell raised me. She was my milkmaid. She was our maid, and she loved my father. She was a wonderful person from a wonderful family. And as a matter of fact, she moved to North Carolina. I believe she moved to Benson, North Carolina, which is where my wife is from. Interesting, right? Very interesting. My ex-wife. So I'm going to go over these videos, and then I'm going to end this live because it's Sunday. What time is it? It's 1 o'clock. So I want to go over a couple videos with you. I might as well, since there's a lot of people watching. These are the videos that I got. Every Saturday I come on here and I tell you exactly which videos I did were real and which videos I did were not. Okay? Which videos were exposing something that's going to hurt you and your family or worse, and what is satire is making fun of something that's real. So I modeled my page after Saturday Night Live. I got to tell you the truth, but I can't flat out tell you, because if I do, they'll suspend my account. Like my old accounts, my old Instagram account, 6 million followers. My old Facebook account, millions. Same thing. YouTube, this is brand new. I have 1,200 or so followers, because when Tate lost his accounts, I lost my accounts. They just went on an account, frenzy, cutting accounts. So these accounts are new. So I get a lot of hate mail on the following. So this morning I put out a video, which I'm sure I'm going to get hate mail, so let me just address it up front. It says, get rid of the cops, get rid of crime. If you haven't seen it, watch it. All right, but here's the ones that I've already been beat up for. It's my belief. So there's a picture on my account, right? Do you need a prescription for HCG? Yes, you do, Brenda. You need a prescription for HCG. So just text me. Text me. HCG. Text me, Brenda. My number's there. So I hate racism, and you know this, right? I just ranted on that. So I took a picture of this bartender, white guy, who had to wear sleeves to cover his tattoos because the color of his skin, he was unemployable unless he wore these sleeves. So I simply shoot a picture of this bartender who has to wear sleeves to hide the color of his skin in order to stay employed at this restaurant. Well, I believe that's racism. I would love to see that restaurant manager, right? Okay, please text me. Yeah. You say text me, but you don't see the number? Here, I'll put the number on. Hold on for a second, guys. Uh, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I don't even know why this is not doing this. Um, on messages. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Here, I'm gonna tell you my phone number because I'm on an iPad and it's not letting me put a message in. That's weird. My phone number is 813-330-6801. So if you guys want to get a hold of me, it's 813-330-6801. Text me 813-330-6801. Got it. Okay. Text me and I will have a conversation with you. Obviously, they're private. There's some people that are in pain, or some people over 50 pounds overweight. Some people, their husband's thing doesn't work and they want to fix that for them. And I can understand why. So text me and I will help you. But anyway, going back to it, I shoot a picture of this kid who's got to wear sleeves. And I said, I would love to see the owners or the manager of this restaurant tell a person of the other skin who has a tattoo, you need to wear sleeves to cover your tattoos. I would love to see that. The fact is, it'll never happen. These people are being discriminated that have tattoos because of the color of their skin. Now, for all you people who have identified with racism and use it to fail in life, I'm sorry. It's not yours. It's systemic. All right? It's throughout the whole entire system. All right? It's been around forever. It's the same thing. If I don't look like you and you don't look like me, you feel a certain way. Well, guess what? If somebody has tattoos and you don't hire them, I'm not talking about if they have swastikas or something, upside down Jesus, I get it. Something offensive, I get it. But like this is a story of my seminary, right? St. Michael. This is not offensive to anybody. It's just his were the fish from Chinese, the big fish. It was beautiful. That is illegal to make them cover up. That's my opinion, though. So I got a lot of hate mail on that. I think if you make someone cover their skin because of its color at a job, you have violated the law. That's just my opinion, though. Now you understand why people got mad at me. I just half the viewers left on Instagram because of that. It's racism. Anyway, poverty. Um, I do a video on poverty. All right. The video's on my page. The video's on my page. Ready? The first part of the video, you're looking at Jamaica. You're looking at Jamaica. And you're looking at these mansions in the mountains. They're mansions. They're castles. They're vampire castles. Right? Unbelievable. And the second part of the video, you think you're looking at Jamaican poverty, but you're not. You're looking at Nebraska Avenue in Tampa. you're looking at people shooting drugs right out in the open on Nebraska Avenue in Tampa. And I said in the video, now I have friends, like I said, I grew up in Atlantic City and Ducktown. I have friends of mine my dear friends, that got busted with drugs when they were younger. They did. They made some mistakes, whatever. 1 year in jail, 5 years in jail, 18 years in jail. Same story. They get out. These poor guys have not been able to get a stable job like other um, people with no record. Now, I'm not talking about someone who sexually abuses somebody, beats up a woman. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about got caught with a pound of marijuana in 1995 and now can't get a job for the rest of his life. Who cares, right? Got caught with a couple ounces of cocaine in a club. Who cares, right? Now can't get a job. Maybe he can't be a cop, you know, but can't get a job anywhere. Can't get a casino license to deal cards. Can't work in a hospital. Can't do any of this. But somehow it's okay for them to be line cooks, handling your food, or pipe fitters or whatever. They just they're limited to what they can do for a living, and I think that's wrong. I think the moral of that video is if you do your time, I think your criminal record should be wiped out. I think the reason why those gentlemen and women were all sitting in that park is because they're in the system, and once you're in the system, you cannot get a job. And that's coming from someone who knows people who are in the system, and they say to me, Scott, I just can't get a job. I can't get a job. I literally have a general contractor's license, and when I would do contracting, I would hire a couple of my friends, and my workman's comp would say to me, "Hey, you can't have this person. This person's a felon." I'd be like, "It's my company. If you don't like it, I just won't have workman's comp." And then, they'll shut you down. So I don't think it's right if you do your time on a crime, stupid drug related crime. I'm not talking about if you do something to a woman or a child. I'm not talking about that. We all know what I'm talking about. Something stupid. You get caught, you do your time. I don't think you should pay for it for the rest of your life. That's it. That's my thoughts on that. Next video that people are beating me up about is the locks. On all of your padlocks and all of the locks on your houses, there's only 5 default lock codes. I know this because I'm in security, right? So if you go to Home Depot and you buy new locks for your house, unless you have that keyed to a key that you already have that was cut custom, those locks that you just bought will open your neighbor's door, every 5th door, if it's the same company. So if it's quick set and you live in a building, and everybody's got the same key lock in the building, and if they're all quick set, unless they rekeyed them, your key will open up your neighbors and all the way down the line, every 5th door, or maybe every door if they took them out of the same box and they keyed the 5 units. So same with houses, new construction. Yeah, it's true. New construction is horrific. All those keys that they use, they are all ordered. They're all the same key. They do it for the realtors, and the keypads are all coded where you can reset it. If you have the reset code, which I'm not going to tell you what it is, I know what it is. You can reset it. You can get into somebody's house. There's no forced entry, and crimes can be committed. Women can be raped, and little children can be taken, and there's no forced entry. And at that point, I think it's ridiculous that no detective has ever asked, "Did you rekey these locks?" There's no forced entry. Uh, you know, so if I go in and if I rape a woman and I have a good lawyer, I turn around and I say, "Hey, she let me in," And she says, no, I didn't. And my lawyer says, well, there's no forced entry. You mean to tell me no one checked to see if it has a duplicate set of locks on it? No one has ever done that. And many people have gotten away with crimes because of this. So I did a video on it. It's on my page. The next one. This is horrific. Okay, I carried around what I thought were my father's ashes from 2008, my stepfather. I had him cremated in Cape May, New Jersey. I sent him to Gormley Funeral Parlor, which was, these people were dynamite. They were in business for 130 years. They were straight paper, right? They send the body to the crematorium, which is in Cape May. They lose the body. So a body, just so you know, has to have, it's like evidence. It needs a chain of custody. So if I pick up a body, I have to sign. I drop a body off, I got to sign. Somebody else has to sign. And you have a chain of custody paper. They lost the chain of custody of my father. I check out the remains. The remains were seashells. Probably from Atlantic City Beach or, Ocean City Beach, Cape May City Beach, whatever. And they sold the body to research, I'm sure. I can't prove that. I called up, did a video about it. It's on my page. I called up the funeral parlor. Funeral parlor now is out of business, and the place where they cremated my father is under new management. She bought it 10 years ago, and the woman admitted to me that the prior owners were shady, and she's gotten the same phone call many, many times. So I'm just going to tell you, in the state of Florida, in our wonderful state, there is no chain of, they have a chain of custody in some places they don't. But did you know that the bodies of the dead in the state of Florida are not taken from the funeral parlor to the crematorium in a hearse? I always thought bodies were transported either in ambulances or hearses. I don't know. Call me crazy. That's what I thought. I thought that that's where people that died, their bodies were either in a hearse or the coroner van, something marked and professional. Well, upon further review, Uber drivers and DoorDash drivers also provide, not all of them, some of them, provide with the same vehicle a driver service that picks up dead bodies and drops them off from funeral parlors to crematoriums. The video's on my page. You clearly see the minivans dropping bodies off, picking bodies up, or remains up, ashes, whatever, from the crematorium. I talked to one of them, but these are people that, when they don't have a body to pick up, are delivering your DoorDash. If you don't believe me, watch the video. And there's no chain of custody, or no, yeah. So, was your burrito delivered and the guy had a body in the back? How long was the body in the back? Did he stop at the bar? Did he stop at the girlfriend's? Did he go to the gym? Hey, the body's been in the back of my car, I don't know, for 3 days. I think I should probably take it to the crematorium. I think it's disgusting. So I did a video on it. I thought you should know. So you might want to watch that one. Okay, next one. Buried my dad in the yard by the way, all these videos I've done so far are real. These are real issues. These are not total nonsense, satire. Just not true. Like like the one I did with the CRC for constipation, that was obviously satire. So these are not satire. These are satire, but they're really real. This is real stuff. So this one, though, I did not bury my father in the side yard to save property taxes. This is a satire video, but I'm making fun of the fact that they will never get rid of property tax. If they have property tax reform, understand that this guy who you think runs the state of Florida is an actor, and he will say anything for you to like him. And he's probably going to put his hat in for president, or they'll choose him to be president next. And so he's got this brilliant idea of getting rid of property tax, which isn't going to happen. If they have property tax reform, then when you purchase a house, it'll be like a car. And the car you pay 7% property tax on when you purchase it in Hillsborough County, for example. It's the same with the house. You will pay 7% sales tax on it. They are not getting rid of property tax. You will pay 7% property tax. They know the average house in Florida is changes ownership every 12 years, which means they'll make even more money than they would if they didn't do this tax reform. So, two things. If they do the tax reform, they're not doing it for you, they're doing it to raise more money. And they cannot get rid of property taxes because if you watch my video, if you follow me, I tell you exactly why. Because they don't own the ground that your house sits on, they don't own the ground the city sits on. The state of Florida doesn't own the ground that the state of Florida sits on. It's owned by a trust, and that trust is owned by private people. So taxes have to be paid. Rent has to be paid. And that I'm not going to get into it, but those videos are on my page. All right? So I'm getting a lot of hate mail about that. People don't want to pay property tax, and I'm like, you don't understand. They're not going to get rid of property tax, bro. They're going to reform property tax, and if you buy a house, you're gonna have to pay the 7% up front. All right. The organ donor scam, guys. The video's on my page. A 30-year-old woman loses her husband. Supposedly severs his spinal cord. Gets talked into donating his organs. There's a 1984 law that says you're not allowed to buy and sell organs in the United States. It's illegal. You can't profit from them. Laws are, just so you know, all government is ran by criminals and was founded by criminals. Okay? It's kind of like the homeless robbing each other. Well, criminals rob each other. So no country was ever founded, it was taken from other criminals. Got it? So this 1984 law for organ donating, was written by an attorney for attorneys, criminals for criminals. And in that law, that you're not allowed to buy and sell organs in the United States for profit, there's a loophole that says the hospital can purchase the body if they pay the family's copay for their insurance or pay their doctor bill. And that's exactly what happened with this lady. And she beats herself every day about it. The hospital probably made $30 million. And the video I did is just to make you aware that if they're going to go ahead and they're going to be scamming people and buying bodies, I think the families should get the money. I don't think the hospital should get anything except for obviously the surgery. I think there should be a third party involved, a doctor who does not work in the same hospital, who is not going to benefit in any way. So if the family says, okay, we need to pull the plug on this, he's not coming back, they would have to have a third party sign off on that to agree that this person's unsavable. This will keep the family honest, and also the hospital who is doing the surgeries, the transplants, like Mayo Clinic, biggest scam on the planet. Mayo Clinic is the biggest scam on the planet. They should not profit at all, except for obviously the surgery itself, which still gives them that they should not have any say at all, is what I'm saying. They shouldn't have the ability to waive a copay and purchase a body, is what I'm saying. And that's it. That was all my videos. So, thanks for following. Thanks for watching. Text me. I'm going to St. Augustine this week. I have to go there to, I really, my girl is having a tough time with this surgery. I'm going to surprise her. I'm going to take her to St. Augustine. So you'll see a lot of content up in St. Augustine. She doesn't even know. And I don't even know. She's so sore. I'm not even sure she can make it, but I'm sure she can. We'll figure it out. And so there's that. And so if you need me, I'll give you my phone number one more time. Please do us a favor, because we love you. Get your hormones straightened out. We don't want to see you. We don't want to see you gone, man, early. And like I said, it's divine providence why you're here and you're watching me. It is. If you weren't loved and you weren't made to watch me, you wouldn't be here. So my phone number for YouTube is 813-330-6801. It's in the description for this live. 813-330-6801. 813-330-6801. All right. Get your hormones straightened out. If you're a dude, your testosterone level's got to be 1,000. If you're a woman, you have to have your I don't tell you anything. Your hormones have to be straight. They have to be straight, or you're going to get old fast, and you're not going to please your man, and vice versa. The hormones always win. So let's just get one blood test, invest a little bit of money. I don't get any of it in yourself. Okay. To wrap it up, stop guessing what's wrong with you. If you're depressed and you're overweight and you're going to doctors because you have anxiety and you have all this shit wrong with you, it's your hormones. Stop guessing. Get the blood test. It's specific to hormones. Let's just figure it out so we can fix it and we can move forward in life. Get your hormones checked. All right? If you don't do it with me, still do it. Text me. My number's there. I'll put you with the right people. You can't get it any cheaper. And they do it all online. You don't have to go see anybody. So there's that. And last thing, what you want to do is you want to eat like it's 500 years ago. So if your people are from Africa, landlocked, I don't think you should be eating fish. Eat like it's 500 years ago, meaning that whatever genetically your people ate 500 years ago, that's what you need to eat to be your fittest, healthiest, youngest, smartest, happiest, blissed out self. You got it? Understand? All right? So, eat like it's 500 years ago. And if it wasn't around 500 years ago, you shouldn't eat it now. There was no peanut butter and jelly 500 years ago. The animals didn't have vaccines in them. The animals didn't have hormones in them. There was no Beyond Burgers. There was none of this. Find out what your people ate 500 years ago. Use logic and say, I'm probably genetically engineered. I'm genetically fit to eat what they ate. That'll give me my longest life, my happiest life, my skinniest life, my fittest life. Okay? It's common sense. If you want more of this, follow me. But get ready for cursing. Get ready for laughter. Get ready for you seeing me with multiple women of the other skin, black women. Get ready to just everything. I'm not polite. I'm an ex priest who got kicked out. I'm an ex Blackwater agent. It's all searchable. Just search my name. It's all there. Unfortunately, I can't get it off Google. So you'll see it. All right. If you need close quarters protection, I'm $1,350 an hour. All right. I'll give you a break if you say you saw me on Instagram. Don't worry. And you got my phone number if you need any issue. If you listen, I heard confession for a long time. If you need somebody to talk to, listen, dude, hit me up. Don't ever give up on yourself. Number one, and number two, everybody needs somebody to talk to. You know what I mean? Everybody needs somebody. We all need each other. We're all one. Call it the body of Christ. Call it the collective consciousness. Call it the one. You know, if you're African, their religion is we are all one body of Christ. We are all one. You know what I'm saying? Hinduism, Kundalini consciousness. We are all one. Buddhist consciousness. We are all one. So utilize my phone number if you need me for anything. That's it. I'm done. I got to go take care of somebody. So I hope to hear from you. All right. I hope what I said sunk in, and I hope you heard me. But I love you and thank you so very very much for following me and sharing my videos and commenting. It really really helps because this is basically all I do for a living now. This and I don't you're never gonna see me selling anything on my you don't you don't see me selling out. You don't see me doing a Joe Rogan. You watch Joe Rogan on his podcast. Dude sold out. He's telling you to buy things like Dr. Oz. These people are telling you to buy things that they don't use. Dude, there ain't enough money in the world. You know what I mean? So what I'm telling you, I've personally already checked out. I know it's safe, or I know it's going to fix you. So that's why you come to me. So I'm not Dr. Oz. I'm definitely not Joe Rogan. He's a sellout, bro. I love him to death, but dude, he's doing a Dr. Oz. Just telling people to buy things because they're paying him. A dude makes $25 million a year. Joe, when's enough, bro? I love you, dude. When's enough? Stop telling people to buy shit you haven't tested or used, bro. You're a sellout. And I'll whoop your ass, bro. If you ever want to fight, let's do it. All right? I'll see you. Bye, Facebook. Bye, Brenda. You've been with me the whole time. Thank you. See you. All right, Instagram. Yeah, Dr. Oz, dude. What a joke. He should be in prison. But I got to go. That's another conversation. I love you to death. So thanks for following me. All right. I'll see you. All right. YouTube. So I got to figure out in a second. Hold on. YouTube. I got to figure out why it wouldn't let me put my phone number in there. Hold on. All right, YouTube. Let's figure you out, bro. How come I couldn't put my phone number in there? Hide all chat messages? No. Top chat messages? All chat messages visible? Why can't I? Welcome to live chat. Remember, gotta, okay. I wanna, I wanna, how come I can't? No? That is so odd. That is so very odd. It's so disappointing.